Saviors, man. There's a lot of them out in this world. Some of them we don't expect, some of them we do. It's Turnbuckle Talk, episode 409, gracing the ring. It's Chris Best with OMD. I had a bit of a savior happen to me today. I ran into some financial troubles. OMD are you still looping, my man?
Apparently not now, but I'll have to wait and see.
Okay. Okay, so I was just saying that I had a savior just kind of out of nowhere give me a hand with something. I ran into a little bit of financial trouble this morning.
Right.
My insurance came out and I didn't have the money to pay for it, so they double up on your payment if you're late.
Right.
And my insurance payment's usually $48 a month, but they upped it to $88 because I was late. So that put me in the hole with my bank. So I'm like, okay, how do I fix this? The bank returned the money because obviously NSF, they return the money to you, right?
Yep.
I'm like, what can I do? What can I do? And I'm stressing all day about this. And I'm like, go next door. Go talk to your worker. See what they can do. She sent me the money to pay off and get my bills caught up. And I left her office. I turned to her. I'm like, you are a savior.
Right.
And she's like, I'm just doing what I do. I'm like, well, you just saved me from being almost $200 in debt. And she's like, I kind of figured that.
Yep.
Have you ever had anything of that nature like happen to you at all?
Not that I can remember, but I'm sure it has at some point.
Mm-hmm.
I know there was times before I actually had my job when I was working fast food that, my neighbor came and helped me out with groceries, or my dad would help me out with a grocery card. But
mm-hmm. Those people are saviors in that sense. You know what I mean?
yeah, because I know, like, it's a matter of pride. Like, you don't want to ask for money.
That was what was killing me all day. And because I knew like at about noon today that I had to do it. I didn't leave to go to their office till 3:00 because I was that what's that word I'm looking for?
Embarrassed?
Not embarrassed, but I was that prideful, I guess you could say.
Right.
And I'm like, my one side of my brain was like, just wait till tomorrow. They're going to tell you no anyways. And I'm like, my other side of my brain won and was like, nope, let's just take the shot. Let's go talk to them.
Yep.
See what they can do. Because I did a Google search on let's just put it out there. I'm on Ontario Works. I'm on a limited fixed income for everybody who doesn't know. And I have to deal with a worker every 3-4 months, sometimes every month, to get my financial situation sorted.
Right.
So I did a Google search to find out like what am I covered on as far as my shelter costs go, because that's what I get. And they're like, they will cover your tenant insurance, and that's what I was paying for. So I'm like, okay, I'll take that. I'll take that ammunition with me and go talk to my worker. I didn't even have to use that ammunition. They were like, yep, let's do it.
Nice.
I was like, okay, cool. But we do have some news stories to get to today. And OMD, I apologize for making you loop, but it's going to happen because it is showtime.
Do it.
I think the first story I would like to cover is something that's not even really a part of the it's sort of a part of the wrestling world, sort of a part of the boxing world. It's in-ring regardless, but Mike Tyson is set to make a rare wrestling appearance at WWE WrestleMania weekend. He will be at WrestleCon doing an appearance for a signing at WrestleCon in Las Vegas. The baddest man on the planet will be stepping back into the pro wrestling world WrestleMania weekend in Las Vegas, and it won't be directly with the WWE. His proximity could open up some interesting possibilities. WrestleCon announced late Monday night, former WBA, WBC, IBF, all the championships basically. Iron Mike Tyson will appear at the convention for the first time. if this doesn't get WrestleCon some tickets, I don't know what does.
Right. And I know we're sort of sitting here saying that, it's a rare appearance, but he is a WWE Hall of Famer.
Mm-hmm.
It is WrestleMania weekend.
He's a massive pro wrestling fan.
And it's in Vegas, which is where he had how many fights and won how many titles?
Basically all the titles.
Right.
That's
now, I
that's,
don't know if he resides in Vegas and it
no,
makes it just an easier trip for him, or if he's close by. I don't know where he resides.
I know for a fact he has a home in Los Angeles. It's like a 2-hour flight from LA to Vegas.
So that's why. And it's probably only going to be for a day. What I'm curious now as to see is he going to make an appearance over WrestleMania weekend at WrestleMania?
Yeah, my thought is I could see him because it says here it's unclear what day, so it's probably only going to be a 1-day thing. What day he will be signing, as he is the first official talent announced for WrestleCon. He's the first one, and WrestleCon is actually one of those conventions I've always wanted to go to. I know a lot of people who have gone, and they said they had a fantastic time.
Yeah.
58-year-old Tyson recently returned to the ring, obviously for the highly publicized bout with Jake Paul. But and that's where it leads me to wonder with WrestleMania, do we get something with Logan and Jake? Because I get a feeling Jake is going to be there with Logan.
Right. And I mean, we heard teases of Logan and Mike coming out of that fight. We heard teases of something involving Logan and Mike potentially at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
We also seen a tease for the end of March of a Logan Paul Jake Paul fight, which turned out to be completely bogus.
Yeah.
But still, it leads one to wonder, could we see Mike Tyson return in an official's capacity again for something to do with WrestleMania?
Yeah, that's the other thing too. I don't think he does come back as an official, or maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. Could be something that they do as a tribute to WrestleMania 14, where he served as the guest enforcer in the Austin Michaels title match,
right?
And ultimately gave Austin the title in that match. It could be just something as simple as him sitting in the crowd, and maybe they show him before Logan Paul's match,
right?
As sort of a tease, But yeah, I expect that the lineup is going to be insane just to meet Mike Tyson, because me not being necessarily a boxing fan, but if I hear Mike Tyson's going to be at like NerdCon here in the Sioux, I'm going.
Right. I mean, and you're looking to make sure you've got that $150 for an autographed photo.
Yeah, I would hang on to that money, and that I would probably take it and put it like center and with all the images I have behind me.
Right.
But no, this is actually interesting. And Mike Tyson, as we have mentioned, he is a fan of wrestling. He actually also has in-ring wrestling experience that not a lot of people forget about, seem to remember.
Yes.
I mean, he was in a tag team match with DX some years ago, if I'm not mistaken, back when he was doing the guest host spot for Monday Night Raw.
Right. And we know that he's teamed up with Chris Jericho in AEW.
Yep. The dude has the credentials that being at a WrestleCon, fantastic.
Just so long as we don't get the imagery, if Mike Tyson is in a locker room that we got from his fight with Jake Paul.
Thank you, OMD. I just wiped that out of my brain. Now it's back in there.
Hence why I said we don't get that imagery. I didn't want to go into detail about it.
Yeah. But now, OMD, you have some news stories. One regarding a very popular reality TV show has announced its newest season of episodes.
Yes, except that I cannot find the article. I cannot find our.
I got it up right here. One former WWE referee, or as he likes to say it, sports entertainment referee, Jimmy Corderas, has posted on his Facebook from the Legends of Wrestling account that Dark Side of the Ring has announced its episodes for this year, or for this forthcoming season.
Okay.
We've got Hell in a Cell, Big Van Vader, Tony Atlas, Ludwig Borga, Billy Jack Haynes, which I'm gonna have to let my sister know about that one because she's into true crime, and
Right.
you got to think that the Billy Jack Haynes incident from last year is going to be talked about.
Yep.
Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert, superstar Billy Graham, Daphne, the original Sheik, and Muhammad Hassan. There's 2 episodes in there that I'm super intrigued about, and that's the Ludwig Borga one,
Yep.
because I don't know if you guys out there know, but maybe OMD you do know, but the amount of controversy that Ludwig Borga went through post WWE. Actually, I shouldn't say post WWE, post UFC. A lot of people seem to forget that he fought in the UFC for a brief period.
Yes.
A lot of controversial stuff with him after that.
Yes.
A lot. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Dark Side of the Ring did a 2-part episode on him with the amount of stuff that he went through.
When Ludwig Borga made his debut, I was instantly a fan. And then I was so disappointed when all of a sudden he was gone.
So what actually happened there was the weekend of the 1994 Royal Rumble, or the week before, I mean, he broke his ankle. And suddenly he was gone. Like he didn't want to do it anymore. He was done with the WWE. Excuse me just one moment here.
Sure. And as well, for me, it's got to be, the next one has to be Vader.
Yeah, that one intrigues me too. I fully expect that Jim Cornette is actually going to be a part of that episode.
Oh yeah.
And I bet, and this is the one thing that he always talks about, how Vince McMahon wanted to change his name to the Mastodon, and how Jim Cornette convinced Vince not to do it.
Right.
But the other episode I'm intrigued about too is Muhammad Hassan.
Yeah.
And that's Muhammad Hassan was one of my favorite wrestlers when he came to the WWF, or the WWE. I mean, I loved his character, but the controversy surrounding that one incident with The Undertaker, and that's all we're going to leave it at. It was done on the wrong day. And, you know,
yep.
For those that don't,
for me, it was just a case of bad timing.
It was, but at the same time, WWE could have edited out that segment.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of interesting things here. Like I'm wondering, so when I look at Dark Side of the Ring, I think of controversy and all the dark things surrounding it. So I'm wondering, when it comes to the Hell in a Cell episode, I wonder which Hell in a Cell they're going to talk about.
I mean, really, I think the big one you've got to discuss in there is going to be Taker and Mick.
That's the one I was leading to, but I was also thinking Shawn and Taker as well. I mean, they might briefly touch on that one if they're going to go to Mick and Taker, because Mick and Taker is the most storied match out of them, right?
Right.
And looking at the Tony Atlas one, I mean, Tony Atlas went through a lot of personal struggles, so I expect that one to be a semi-sad episode.
Right. And I got to say this, superstar Billy Graham, for his tumultuous wrestling career and after career, post career, with where he's been painted into a corner, so to speak. But we've gotten we've all moved past that.
Did
You lost audio for a moment.
all right, am I back?
You are.
Okay. Yeah, I was just saying, like, he was almost blacklisted from all of wrestling, essentially.
Right?
But this season does intrigue me. The Daphne one is going to be the most saddest one. I guarantee you that one.
Yep.
But this is the original Sheik, though. My mom got to watch my grandmother got to watch the original Sheik wrestle live.
Right. I attended the original Sheik's Hall of Fame induction.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I'm pretty sure him giving it, or no, he had passed away by the time, but I'm pretty sure a Hall of Fame induction versus actually seeing what he did live is two different stories, you know?
I mean,
I expect that one to be a crazy, insane episode.
Yep. I mean, he was inducted by Rob Van Dam and Sabu.
Both guys he trained, by the way.
Yep.
But yeah, I'm excited for the season. I'm gonna check it out. For those up here in Canada, if you don't have it, it usually airs. It shows up on Crave TV if you don't have cable TV.
I don't have Crave either, unfortunately.
I do, so I'll be watching it. But speaking of watching, I was gonna say speaking of watching things. Geez, we're gonna talk about this new relationship between the WWE and Tubi and how they are now getting the launch of WWE Evolve, which debuts on March 5th, 2025, 8 p.m. Eastern.
Yes.
Shawn Michaels has come out and said, "We are excited to work with our incredible partners at Tubi to showcase our young rising talent to the WWE universe as they start their in-ring journey, competing each week to fulfill their lifelong dream of becoming a WWE superstar." This almost sounds like what we talked about last week.
Right? It's going to be very, very similar. So I'm wondering again if this is NIL and WWE ID.
That's hard to say because, when they showed the commercial for it, I think it was on Raw. It might have been on the Royal Rumble. They were all wearing, all the wrestlers that they were showing were in Performance Center shirts, so it was a little difficult to tell, you know.
And the other thing too that I had initially heard when I had heard about this a few weeks ago, before this was announced, was that it was going to be run by Gabe Sapolsky, the original creator of Evolve.
Yeah, but it sounds like Shawn Michaels is going to be in charge of it from the press release I read.
That's what it sounds like, and I wouldn't be surprised if it's going to be both of them. I wouldn't be surprised if Shawn is more sort of doing the talent stuff and Gabe Sapolsky is sort of running the overall, or vice versa.
Well, Shawn Michaels is the WWE Senior Vice President of Talent Development and Creative.
Right.
So he's going to be more in charge of, he's going to be in charge of talent development and the stories.
Right. So it really wouldn't surprise me then if he's more the on-air type of figure, especially because he is so used to working the crowds, so to speak, and the PR, whereas we never heard anything out of Gabe Sapolsky with Evolve. And this goes back to, a year ago when Tubi said they wanted to get into the wrestling industry, and we discussed that.
And they did. There's a lot of wrestling content on Tubi as it is right now. There
always has been in terms of biographies and stuff like that.
Yeah, they have full-on events on there now.
Really?
Full-on events, full-on matches from like the 70s and 80s there now.
Nice.
A lot of rare matches. I found a thing on Shawn Michaels where they showed a bunch of like his old AWA matches.
Nice.
Yeah, so there's even one on Macho Man that's like 3 hours of stuff from like his time in the territories.
Wow.
So yeah, they Tubi pulled out. They said they wanted to get into the wrestling business. Well, here they're in the wrestling business now
Right?
by showing
And
all this classic stuff.
and now we're seeing why WWE has said NXT is no longer a developmental brand. Because now we're going to get Legends and Future Greats Sundays on A&E, and then we are
Mhm.
going to get Evolve on Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Now,
Yeah,
what I'm going to be interested to see with Evolve is it going to be a 2-hour show or a 1-hour show?
it honestly does not say. Even in the press release, it just says 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. Exclusively on Tubi, with a new episode dropping each week on Wednesday. So the first episode will be March 5th. My brain keeps wanting to say it's this Wednesday, but it's not.
Right. No, it's not tomorrow, which is February 5th.
No, so 1 month away. But this is actually, I'm very intrigued. I'm very excited about this. WWE Evolve, it says here in the final paragraph, will introduce viewers to the most intense and charismatic prospects recruited from college athletics and independent wrestling as they strive to build their in-ring careers and elevate their personas. So this sounds more like the NIL program.
It does. But as soon as you said independence, that's going to be WWE ID.
Can I just stop you for a second? We've got some breaking news on NXT right now.
Okay.
Fandango is there. He's coming out to the... No, I mean Fandango. He's coming out to the Fandango theme song. He's doing the dance. He's out there doing something with Lexus King.
Interesting.
I don't mean to spoil that, but that's breaking news. We got to talk about that on Turnbuckle Talk because it's all part of what we discussed last week with the TNA WWE crossover.
Yep.
And it's also a part of like what we thought about with Nick Nemeth coming in and maybe being Dolph Ziggler. Which, by the way, I noticed that when Joe Hendry came out, because I rewatched the Men's Royal Rumble, when Joe Hendry came out, Michael Cole mentioned Nick Nemeth by his Nick Nemeth name.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't even hear that, and I rewatched the Royal Rumble yesterday.
Yeah, he did. But no, going back to this Evolve situation here, I'm very excited about this. I do try to watch like when they do the combines every year.
Right.
I try to watch those so I can get an idea of who our future stars are, and that's what I think I'm going to get out of Evolve as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I will be watching Evolve after the PlayStation Showcase because we're on Wednesdays at 8 p.m. for that as well.
That we are.
But yeah, I'm tremendously excited. But what I'm not excited about, got some sad news here. And it's a bit of news that disappoints me because I really thought they were going somewhere with this guy, and they actually were. But Apollo Crews is out with an injury. Apollo Crews tore his pec in his match with Johnny Gargano a couple weeks back.
Wow.
And he's headed for surgery. And of course, as we know, with a torn pec, especially with Cody Rhodes, you're down for 9 months. That's how long Cody was down for. This is horrible for Apollo because of what they were doing with him on SmackDown with the tag team division.
Yep.
And I think, and now I'm beginning to wonder if this is why we saw the Street Profits come back on Saturday, maybe.
Right.
All the best. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, it's really sad because I thought they were really clearly building to something with Apollo, and then, I mean, again, he's one of these guys that starts getting this push, building a little bit of momentum, back to catering, or he gets hurt.
Yeah, when he was doing the whole Nigerian thing there with Commander Azim.
Aziz.
Yeah, that's what I said, Commander Azim. His name doesn't bother me anyway. Yeah, Bulkster, we are watching NXT. I am watching NXT, and we just broke the news about Fandango.
Yes. Best is watching NXT. I'm going to watch it either later or tomorrow. Didn't want to get an hour into it and then have to flip out for the Leafs at 9:00. So
you do know that with Virgin, there is a last button this time. So you can flip back and forth between the two shows.
Not with NXT on Netflix and on Virgin.
If you have it on two different devices, you can watch it on your watch NXT on your laptop, watch the game on your TV.
I could.
But yeah, this sucks for Apollo Crews because again, like I was saying, when he was doing the thing with Commander Aziz there was something there. They were. I loved what they were doing with him there, and then again, he got hurt. I think during that time too. Did he not?
He did, and I mean, one of the things that and there's a number of people that I can make in this comparison, but Wade Barrett. Every time they would build momentum with him, every time he got the Intercontinental title, he got hurt.
Yeah. I want him to get better. I want him to come back, and I want, when he does come back, maybe we restart this whole thing with the tag team division with him involved. Give him something a little different, but something similar where he builds to who his possible tag team partner could be.
We could. I think a lot of it is going to have to do with where the tag team division depth is.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, again, not a guy I'd want to put into a tag team as soon as you move him up to the main roster, but it could have just as easily been Trick Williams, or I would have loved to see an Apollo Crews Carmelo tag team.
I was leaning towards Omos, as much as I don't really like that. But if you want to keep Omos on your WWE TV, don't put him in singles matches. Tag team matches might be the best thing for him.
Right.
It's the same thing with Andre the Giant. Towards the end of Andre's career, the best thing they did for him was put him in that tag team with Haku.
Well, and it was the same thing with Yokozuna.
Yeah, the tag team with Owen before he left. But at the same time, Yoko could actually still go at that point. He was just ballooning out big time.
Yeah.
Speaking of big time, though, this is something that actually I'm not a big basketball fan. Neither is OMD. But this is actually something that I think is quite exciting to see. But Bayley is going to be taking part in the NBA All-Star Celebrity Basketball game. She is trading in her boots for basketball shoes. The NBA has announced that the WWE star will be playing in the league's All-Star Celebrity Basketball game. Bayley will be on a team co-coached by San Francisco 49ers legend Jerry Rice, which that sounds weird. Football player coaching basketball.
But Jerry Rice did have he was a dual sport athlete.
Mm-hmm.
And Bayley, being from San Jose, is a Niners fan. So for her, this has to really be an incredible experience.
Mm-hmm.
Now, as you said, we're not basketball fans. For me, it's another celebrity charity game. We've seen The Miz do it in Major League Baseball.
Mm-hmm.
We even saw last year, although they weren't on the ice, we saw a bunch of celebrities as the co-captains in the NHL All-Star Game. So it's just sort of one of those things. It's to add a little bit of flavor and flair to the All-Star festivities, so I get it. It's just a matter of I'm not going to be paying much attention.
Yeah, and I got to say, like, I'm happy Bayley's doing this. I think it's actually cool that they are starting to recognize wrestlers in that realm a little bit more.
Right.
especially with somebody like Bayley, who I consider to be one of the faces of the women's division. That's where I'm a little bit more excited. Now that instead of getting our typical The Miz, Titus O'Neil, or Cody Rhodes, for instance, going out and doing these things, we're getting somebody like Bayley out there doing it.
Right.
And it's going to be taking place January 14th or February 14th in Oakland, California, the Oakland Arena, which actually makes me happy that Oakland's finally is getting something professional again, because they lost all of their teams.
Yes.
I'm excited about this. And from the POV from this article, it says Bayley is a big 49ers fan because she is from the Bay Area, San Jose, San Fran, all that. So playing on a team coached by Rice and having retired Niners wide receiver Terrell Owens is going to be part of her team too. That's going to be a bit on the controversial side. I mean, when Terrell Owens played football, I didn't watch, but I saw a lot of stuff about the things he did,
Yep. I'm glad Terrell's given up on his dream of trying to come back and play in the NFL.
Yeah, I saw that. I've heard all about that. I do have a list of the roster here. If you just give me 1 second here. If you'll let me click and zoom.
No zoom for you.
Okay, so over on Team Rice's team, it's a bunch of names that I don't know in Bayley.
Okay.
And then on the other team, it's Barry Bonds coaching. Barry Bonds and 2 Chainz coaching the other team. And a bunch of names that I don't know other than Barry Bonds and 2 Chainz. Oh, and Kai Cenat, who I only know because he was on doing the WWE stuff recently.
Right.
But no, I'm excited for this. I mean, good on Bayley for doing this. And, it's all for charity. And that's, you can't go wrong when you're doing something for charity,
Right.
But good on her. Good on her for that.
I do hope that, because, it is a sport and anything can happen. So I do hope that she doesn't get injured.
Yeah, most of these celebrity charity type games, because I've been to the ones that they do at the Gardens with the NHL legends.
Right.
It's literally just all in good fun. It's just
I know.
It's more like if me and you just went to the basketball court and did a pickup game of basketball.
I know, but still, it's one of those things that anything can happen at any given time.
Yeah, the last time when I went to the NHL Legends game, they did here with the firefighters some years ago. They did have Al McInnes on the ice, and as we know, he's got one of the hardest slap shots in the business.
Yes.
But yeah, I'm totally excited about this. One thing I'm not excited about, because I do notice we still have a little bit of time here. We had ourselves a WWE release yesterday.
We did.
And it kind of surprises me because he was one of the more popular wrestlers on the NXT roster. That's Duke Hudson.
Yes. And after 6 years, this was broken last night by our friend the Bulkster to us. And I'm really, really disappointed because there was so much they could have done with him.
I wanted Chase U to reunite some way or some other way. I really was not ready for that breakup as I'm looking, because I got Ridge Holland in the ring, so Chase U was on my mind, and it was Ridge Holland that broke up Chase U.
Yep. And I gather from what I read today, Duke Hudson put out a video on his Twitter where he was dressed in 2 different suits interviewing himself.
Yeah, I didn't quite see the video yet, but the only thing I could say when a wrestler gets released is don't give up on your dreams. If you still want to do it, there's other promotions out there to go and do it,
Absolutely.
I very easily see him
going to TNA.
Yeah, and that's I was gonna say, don't give up on it. Don't walk away from it because it will still bite you. There are times when I'm at the CWE show and I'm just looking at the ring and I'm like, I want to get in there and just run the ropes.
Right. I want to
um,
get in, do the front roll once or twice, and just
yeah.
smack the mat, and I'm good.
Um, even so, as I was saying about Duke Hudson, I mean, don't give up if you still want to do it. Even if you have to start with like some low rank promotion that attracts like 20 people, do it, because those 20 people are going to tell their friends, and then they're going to tell their friends, and so on and so on, that Duke Hudson killed it at this show. You should come to the next one. That's how it gets about that wrestling is popular. I mean, even here with the CWE, with pro wrestling, I've had people now coming up and asking me when the next CWE event is.
Right.
And CWE, when his 90
Now,
days are up, give Duke a call.
Duke has only got a 30-day because he was NXT.
That's true too.
And he was released back in January.
Yep.
So we don't know the official date of release in January. And unfortunately, he was the only one that was released. So we don't know what other factors. Maybe it was budget cuts. Maybe it was just there's nothing for him. But speaking of bookings and following your dreams, perhaps Duke Hudson could take a page from Indy Hartwell's book.
Yeah, because she is. Well, first off, let's start off with Indy Hartwell and how it was like maybe a month or two ago where she said she wasn't sure if she was getting back into the ring.
Yep.
She said that on her personal vlog. That's the source that we're going with.
Yep.
But now we know where she's going. She has accepted a booking with WrestleCon. Actually, is one of them. WrestleCon previously announced Indy Hartwell would be making an appearance for them in Indianapolis, January 31st. So she was at WrestleCon for the Royal Rumble.
Okay.
And February 1st over the Royal Rumble weekend. But now she has taken another booking for Renegades of Wrestling in her hometown of Melbourne, at their We Are Renegades event in the Northcote Theater on March 9th. However, her opponent has yet to be announced.
Right.
So this, I gotta say, Indy, I'm glad for you. I'm very happy that you took this.
Yes, me too. And I do hope to see Indy back in a major promotion soon and tearing it up the way that she can. So good for you. I am glad to see you're going home. Hopefully you can reunite with some country mates, and by all means, bring Duke with you. So in this now, Melbourne, we are talking Melbourne, Australia.
My
We are
headphones
not
died on me.
talking.
Hang on, I'm looking for my charger.
We are talking Melbourne, Australia, not any Melbournes in North America. This is Melbourne, Australia, the other side of the world. She is going home. And I couldn't be happier or prouder for her. Go do your celebratory countrymen proud. Do mommy proud. Maybe do something inspiring or iconic if possible. I had no idea that she did WrestleCon over the Royal Rumble weekend in Indianapolis. Mr. Best is losing his mind at his headphones all at once, so I'm not sure where we're going to go next. Ha 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 ha. You know what? I want to touch on something that is long overdue. This was something I don't think any of us foreshadowed, but we know that there are a lot of naysayers going on about this. And that is going to be the first announcement this year into WWE's Hall of Fame.
I apologize for that, guys. My headphones died on me. I had to look for my charger immediately. Sorry, OMD. What were you talking about? I couldn't hear anything.
I said I wanted to get into a topic that's maybe rubbed some people the wrong way, and that is the subject of our first WWE Hall of Fame announcement.
Yeah, I saw most of what people were talking about on there, and I just want to say to you guys, shut up.
Right.
This wasn't anything to do with Triple H himself inducting himself. He legitimately was surprised because Sean, Stephanie, and Mark, not Mark Calloway, the Undertaker, who was involved, but not Mark.
Nick
Khan, thank you. I'm only thinking Mark because I was watching something on Mark Carrano, former WWE talent development leader, earlier today. But no, this was a surprise by them. And the story goes that they asked The Undertaker to be involved because they knew Triple H cannot say no to Taker.
Yes. And even after, because we've seen the video of when this happened.
Yeah.
And yes, Triple H was taken aback and really humbled. And he's even stated afterwards that as the day progressed and he went into other meetings after that town hall, that was when it really started to sink in and the emotions were overcoming it.
Yeah.
So no, ladies. Yeah. So go ahead, Beth.
I was going to say, and believe me, like I watched every year, there's always one surprise induction, and every year you see that wrestler just taking a moment trying to soak in what just happened. Molly Holly was the perfect example of that. When they had her on the bump and they said, "Hey, you're going into the Hall of Fame," she had this look like, "What? Wait, what?" You know what I mean?
I mean, let's look at, even The Undertaker when they told him on the bump. Kane when they told him on the bump. You're seeing all of these guys, it's overwhelming.
Right.
And we know how humble, because Triple H took that step because he could have been inducted a decade ago.
Yeah. Actually,
he refused to go in with until guys like Rick Rude and Kevin Nash and some of those other legends were in before him.
Actually, one of the better examples isn't even a wrestling one, but when Larry Walker got the call. Just thinking about that, because Larry Walker was one of my favorite baseball players of all time.
Right.
And when he got that phone call and the tears and everybody celebrating and hugging him, so emotional,
Yep.
So for all the fans out there that also say that the WWE Hall of Fame is a farce, shut up again. Because these things mean something to these wrestlers. So when they get that call, and you see you saw Kane was shedding tears, Molly Holly was shedding tears, Taker was fighting back tears.
Yeah.
It means something to these boys. Even though the one time Paul Orndorff said it didn't mean anything to him and he left the plaque in his hotel room.
Right.
I get this feeling that when he returned to the WWF and he made amends, that it started to mean more to him,
Yeah.
But yeah, that's good. I'm happy for Hunter. I was waiting on Hunter's induction and when that would be.
Right.
I think Hunter more than deserves it.
100%. He is a man that I've had the privilege of watching as Hunter Hearst Helmsley.
Me too.
And as Triple H.
Me too. And as DX Triple H, mind you. I got to see him in all three of his forms.
I didn't get to see him as DX Triple H because he was injured at WrestleMania 23.
Yeah, so the way I got to see him, Hunter as Hunter Hearst Helmsley, same event that OMD went to in '95 house show where he fought 2, if I'm not mistaken. I'm pretty sure it was fought 2, and they wrestled to a double count out. It might have been Henry Godwinn. I can't remember.
I think it was Henry Godwinn because that was leading up to the hug pen match.
Yes, because in October, at the October in Your House, Hunter wrestled fought 2 on that show, and Hunter won, but Henry Godwinn interfered after the match.
Right.
Yeah, because it was Henry and Triple H, and then they had to later on that night, because they were building to Psycho Sid versus Henry at the next In Your House. They had to have Henry Godwinn interfere in the Intercontinental title match as well, or distract Sid, I should say. But yeah, I got to see him in that sense, and then I got to see him as 2006 DX Triple H. Didn't get to see him as Attitude Era Triple H.
Right.
And then I got to see him wrestle as the Game, as he wrestled my friend Eugene at SummerSlam 04. There's a lot of things that we could do, like a 1 hour Turnbuckle Talk on just Triple H and his career. Right. And everything that he's done. Bravo. Congratulations. We love you, Hunter. You deserved it. Yeah. But I think it's time that we move on to our Showstopper segment here. On his feet. Oh my God in heaven. So as OMD is being looped around, our Showstopper segment pertains to Jordynne Grace. As announced on Saturday night at the Royal Rumble by Michael Cole during the commentary, she is officially a part of the WWE roster. Today it came to light from Fightful Select the terms of her contract. She has signed a 5-year deal and is expected to be assigned to NXT. OMD, I see you're back with us.
I am. Really, I think it's too much if you put her down to NXT. I think she's a better fit on SmackDown to start.
So you wouldn't want to see her wrestle Julia or Stephanie Bakur. Okay, got it.
No, it's not even that. It's because she's done, like, she's been with NXT. I think it's too much oversaturation.
She only had 2 matches with NXT, dude.
She's plus other numerous appearances. So I think that her and Julia, her and Steph Bakur, her and Zarya, I think it's just too much saturation. I realize you're losing numerous women and Roxanne Perez and
Fallon Henley's possibly going to go up.
Yeah.
There's a lot of women that are ready for that main roster move, what we'll say.
Yes. Now, when I was reading the article, it did say it was going to sort of be a limited run in NXT.
Yeah, so limited run could be she may be there, and then maybe we'll say by SummerSlam, maybe she gets called over to the main roster to SmackDown or Raw.
Yes. Now, in the article that I've got, it says insiders disclose that Grace has secured a main roster level contract, leading most within the organization to expect a brief stint in NXT.
And here's the other thing, too. She may be with TNA or NXT, but what if her stuff with Masha Slamovich isn't quite done over in TNA? I mean, I know on Chris Van Vliet, she said she's done what she can do in TNA. She was ready to move on.
Yes.
But there's still that working opportunity that you can do with Masha and Jordynne. But now you can do that over on the NXT side of things as well.
You absolutely can. I did find out as well that, as Bubba informed us the other night, and we hadn't heard this, she had requested an early release because after Scott D'Amore left.
I reported it last week.
I don't remember you reporting it. I remember Bubba telling us.
I reported it last Tuesday.
Because when Bubba told us, you said you hadn't heard it.
No, that was Parrish, not me.
But
But
she had asked for early release because she had done everything she could after Scott D'Amore had left.
mm-hmm.
So,
because her contract was due to expire this coming October, but she asked for her early release. She asked for her an early release, to which TNA agreed to. And then there was some sort of a meeting with WWE and TNA saying, "Hey, we heard about this. Can we go in and negotiate a deal with her?" Yeah. And you know what? In the older days, TNA would have been like, "F you, that's not happening."
Yep.
But we're in a world, as Joe Hendry once put it on an interview I watched with him today. We're in a world of pro wrestling where anything can happen.
Yep.
And there's a lot of dream matches on the NXT roster alone that I want with Jordynne Grace. I mentioned Stephanie Bakur, Julia. We've already seen Roxanne Perez, but I wouldn't mind seeing that one again.
Right.
And then because she was just in the ring right now, I wouldn't mind her and Sol Ruka getting together and having a match. Kalani Jordan as well.
Right.
Ola Vice. Fallon Henley.
Yes. Now, and as part of this deal, Jordynne Grace did get to retain ownership of her name and theme song.
Which is why when she came to the ring in the Rumble, she used her TNA theme.
Yes. TNA expressed interest in re-signing her. However, they acknowledged the improbability. So I do think that you're going to see perhaps a crossover appearance.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't expect it to be for too long. I'm fully expecting that within 6 months, if it is a main roster deal for Jordynne Grace, she will go to the SmackDown, because I think that's where she is better suited for the moment.
Yeah. Again, like I'm just thinking about the dream match possibilities for her. Her and Julia is definitely a stand and deliver main event. Right. I believe that's probably where we could go with her, because I get this feeling, and I'm going to make an early prediction right now for Vengeance Day, but I think Julia takes the title over retains the title over Stephanie.
Julia's facing Stephanie? I thought Stephanie was facing Fallon at Vengeance Day.
That's what I've read. Let me double check this, because double checking WWE. Oh, sorry. Julie is taking on Bayley and Roxanne Perez. So yeah, I do expect her to. Yeah. Okay. My bad. I will admit to that. That's going to be a hell of a match too, by the way.
It is. It is. But yes, Julia is going to retain. As I am fully expecting that after Vengeance Day is when we are going to see Roxanne get called up.
Yeah. Speak of the devil, Bayley and Roxanne are on my TV right now. But yeah, as far as Jordynne Grace goes, like we've talked ad nauseum our dream matches for her in the WWE. The one match I would love to see her do, and I want her to knock the snot out of her, Charlotte. Her and Charlotte actually would put on a great match. I will admit.
Where I'm thinking you're going to go, and as much as I don't want to see it, I think it would be a great step for the two of them, is you're going to debut Jordynne after we see Jade come back and reveal who attacked her. And I think you'll see her introduce Jordynne as her new partner to take out Bianca and Naomi.
And that's another thing too. Remember the 2024 Royal Rumble? Jordynne and Bianca just showing off their strength with one another.
Right.
How cool of a match would those two have?
Right. And how about this past Saturday at the Royal Rumble, where Jordynne and Naomi were hugging, and Bayley pulled her off, or Bianca.
Mm-hmm.
So
there's a lot of rotating cogs, as it were, with this Jordynne Grace thing. I mean, if it's a limited run in NXT, I do expect that we're going to get some of the big matches that she would want, like Julia, Stephanie Bakur, maybe another match with Roxanne Perez, even Bayley, who's been doing a lot of stuff with NXT lately.
Right.
There's just a lot of potential, for Jordynne Grace in WWE, and I'm excited to see where it goes.
Me too.
But you know what else I'm excited about, OMD?
What's that?
I'm excited about the stuff we have with the Turnbuckle affiliation program. So why don't we share that excitement with our viewers here?
Let's do it. This is where you can find
Turnbuckle Studios and the Turnbuckle affiliation program bring you the week of streams. All times are in Eastern Time. Monday nights you get the Locker Room Breakdown at 7 p.m., followed by the Raw Patrol at 8 p.m. Tuesday brings you the flagship show, Turnbuckle Talk, at 8:05 p.m. Wednesday we play games with the PlayStation Showcase at 8 p.m. Thursday we got total non-stop action with Brace for Impact at 8 p.m. Friday we game again with Unleashed, the Jessica Wilde story at 7 p.m. Following the game, join us for the SmackDown Security Detail at 8 p.m. The weekend brings you Saturday Night Gaming at 8 p.m. On Sunday be sure to catch the Chris Parrish podcast at 12:15 p.m. followed by the Boar's Nest at 8 p.m. Be part of the shows and join the chat every day.
And if you want some further information about the Turnbuckle affiliation program, feel free to visit affiliationprogram.my.canva.site, and you'll get all the information you need to become a podcaster. You can reach out to either one of us, or Baba Duke, or Chris Parrish, or Carl Carafel, and you'll get all the information needed to get your podcasting career off to a start. Speaking of that one, Carl Carafel, he's not here with us tonight, but I'd like to showcase his socials. So if you want to follow him, give him a little follow at his link tree, lanktr.ee/Carl Carafel. That's KarlKarufel. And while you're at it, visit the Redbubble. If I can find that link here, that would be great. There it is. Visit his Redbubble at karlcarafel.redbubble.com. Right there, you'll find all kinds of merchandise from the Turnbuckle affiliation program, be it the Chris Parrish podcast, the Boar's Nest, the Locker Room Breakdown, Saturday Night Gaming. You'll find all kinds of merchandise there. And we also get a little bit of a kickback for every purchase you make there as well. OMD, you are with us, so it is time for your socials.
People, if you are looking for me, you can catch me at my link tree, linktr.ee/OMD show. If you want to catch me visually, right back here tomorrow night with Mr. Best on the PlayStation Showcase.
Yeah, that's right. And you can find me at my link tree, lanktr.ee/Chris_best83. And as OMD said, tomorrow night, PlayStation Showcase. But the game we are playing, Madden NFL 25. We're going to be taking a look at that and maybe discussing our thoughts on the Super Bowl this weekend.
That's right.
And on that note, OMD, what are those famous words that one Carl Carafel likes to go out on?
Ladies and gentlemen, the world is a scary place. Take care of each other. From all of us here at Turnbuckle Studios and the Turnbuckle Affiliation Program, to those of you out there, wherever you are, good night, good luck, we out.